We've got some brilliant collections this year. We've got some absolutely fantastic knitwear that's really dealing with sustainable issues, really bringing things to the forefront. We've got a beautiful fashion collection which is about silk and about some of the challenges that there are with sort of welfare and the process of producing silk. So our students are really asking big questions about the industry.
So it's all about my upbringing in Eastern Europe and more specifically in Romania. A lot of my designs are like very kitsch inspired, like kitsch aesthetics. So we put carpets on walls and like floral carpets. So you see in my collection a lot of prints. It's been nerve-wracking, but I'm glad it's done now. I'm very relieved. And I'm looking forward to see what happens after this.
My collection was mainly inspired by the time that I spent in London interning and sort of my introduction to queer spaces and understanding the freedom that queer spaces give to a whole community of people and sort of capturing that excitement, that energy in a collection within textiles and within knitwear.
It's quite hectic. Everyone's sort of running around and I suppose everyone wants their collection to be the best it can possibly look. So it's a lot of designers and dressers and all the teachers and organisers just sort of buzzing around in the small room trying to get everything done. But it was really nice to see that everyone eventually just came together and it all just fell in place. That's good.
This has been the moment we've all been looking for. After several years, we finally got back to that moment where we can share all those special things about fashion here at Graduate Fashion Week. And so the atmosphere is just celebratory, positive, collaborative, and really encouraging.